Well, it's an early morning ball game. Well, not early. We got to be there at 9. Not early. But it was raining all morning. It looks like a chance of it being wet today. But Ollie's off to the baseball game today. You know, I did a couple of videos yesterday. I didn't like the way the first one was. It was too choppy, and I might have rambled a little bit. No, before you were here. Oh, I told Amy I was going to rat her out. See, that's her drink. And she threw a little strawberry foam on the top also. I went for the peach tea today. So good. Perfect drink for Sunday, right there. Somebody said, "Oh, you didn't talk about Ollie yesterday." I talked about Ollie in depth in one of the videos, and that's not the one I used. Ollie had a great day yesterday, but I wouldn't say he lit the ball up yesterday. It was a bit of a slow day at the plate, but he played great defensively, and actually was the winning pitcher in the second game. Come in through strikes, filled the strike zone up, gave up 2 runs, but they ended up coming back and winning in the bottom of the 7th. It was a great game. It's been a great tournament, and absolutely having a lot of fun. When I go to these tournaments, I try to focus just on Ollie and the baseball game, but obviously I'm always looking at my phone a little bit, and couldn't be any more pleased than what I saw yesterday with Freedom Hill and Aunt Lily. We had Arrowhead Hanover the day before, and truthfully, in front of all of them, you know, Amy and I talked briefly about it. Yesterday when I went with Chicago Hall, it ended up in a huge blowout with James. And he was a little stressed too because his plane was being delayed, and then he missed his flight, missed all his drives. Hasty Bid still ended up winning in 50-2, new lifetime mark, and looked tremendous doing it. I felt bad because he had a full card of drives last night, which only exasperated the tension at the time. And I think maybe James saw the qualifiers from the Meadowlands yesterday and realized that maybe I wasn't too far off with what I did with Chicago Hall yesterday. I couldn't be any more pleased. And in fact, Amy and I went back to look at Chicago Hall and Gaslight Hall, all the horses last night at 9:30. I just wanted to feel his feet, see if they were a little warm, check his knees, and most importantly, see if he ate everything. Amy said a couple of times last week he was a little picky with his food, but yesterday we got to the barn, all of it was all cleaned up. So that made me very, very happy. Made me very, very happy to know that he was feeling good and he was eating good, especially after such a strong qualifier. And you know, the point I was trying to get across to you, but obviously to James also, is he was well within himself. And as I said, earplugs in with no string, snake cord on, which he never wore before. I just wasn't fighting with him. In the warm-up, he wasn't like crazy hot, but he just grabby and wouldn't let go of me. I don't like when the horses do that. I want them to relax and settle a little bit. And who turned the heat on back there? I'm just gonna blast a vicious heat up my back. The horse was perfect. You know, when we looked at it was funny. I said to Amy last night, we talked about our projections, right? Our projections video. I had Chicago Hill. It's all right. Leave it back. Maybe Ollie wants it, sweetheart. Ask him. Eat it up, Ollie.
Dad, I don't want it.
Okay, give it to me. I'll take it, sweetheart. Thank you. We looked at the projections video, and yesterday was the Chicago Hall that I had been seeing, right? And he hadn't appeared yet. None of them appear until they do, and some of them don't. And with Chicago Hall, it wasn't like I was in a big hurry to go fast, but I was in a big hurry to make sure, one, he was hung upright. What is going on here? Where's all his hair coming from? One, he was hung upright, and 2, he was ready to go. And that's what I wanted to see from Chicago yesterday. And you know, as I said I think the easiest way I wanted to put it to James was, I'm not saying that your way was wrong. James is always conservative. We'll get that mile in a stake race. Well, that's great, but you don't know it's there until it's there. Now you know it's there. Now you're 1-5 next week, probably. You move them as you want, race the horse easier, because you're going to have all the respect. People also can see that line. And that was also a component. And as I said, the one takeaway from yesterday was, it's not right or wrong. It's left and right. they're all headed in the right direction. Now, if Chicago Hall falters later in the season, fine. Come back and say, well, maybe that qualifier took a start out of him. I just don't see that. When you look at the races yesterday at the Meadowlands, you can see, not the races, but the qualifiers, you can see the exact same preparation for the horses. And again, this isn't me saying I'm right and you're wrong. This is me saying this is the way I'm doing it because I believe this is the right way to do it. I'm not saying your way is wrong. Clearly, Hasty Bid has been great. Blarney Castle, probably the best Blarney Castle he can be. He's on gate now, by the way. And James is a smart guy, good horseman, but when it comes to this aspect, we have always been at odds and probably always will be. So I was thoroughly pleased with Chicago yesterday, and he calmed down too. I think a lot of the stress was just the Meadowlands and getting there for his horse, and then when finally it was just, I can't make it when it's over, I think he was much easier. So thoroughly pleased with the babies in general. Freedom Hill, Aunt Lily, both great. Arrowhead Hanover was great on Friday evening. So happy with him. All three of those horses raced good Friday night. And then got to watch Ollie play baseball yesterday. Sneak out, qualify Chicago, come back and watch the rest of the races. It was a great day, top to bottom. I talked about you pitching, right? You did a great job, filled up the strike zone. Exactly what we practiced. So, the rest of the day we didn't talk about. No free lunch. Thought he was beaten, and those races aren't going to get easy, right? And that's what I'd said to Stacy. I said 52, 53, that's plenty right now.
Softball game.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people play slow pitch this time of day.
But I thought people usually played at night.
Why do they play at night?
It's a tournament, probably.
It's probably a little tournament,
I
but
need you to get your shoes on.
right now, because we only have 8 minutes, it's 4 minutes a foot, in case you're wondering. Just letting you know.
It probably takes him more than 4 minutes a foot.
Oh, him? Yes. So no free lunch. I said to Stacy, here. She goes, well, she likes the horse. She knows he's a fast horse. But as I said to Stacy last week, none of that matters now. Your job is to put him in where he can win. I don't care what race that is. 10 claimer, 12 claimer, 15, 8, I don't care. Just put him in where when he walks on the track, he's 9-5, not 12-1. So I think that's important. And sometimes it's difficult to do that, right? You're trying to price a horse coming out of forever condition races into a claimer. It's hard to find that proper place. But as I said, now we know if he goes on the track in a 20 claimer, 12-1, then put him in a 10. Just put him in where he can do. We want to do right by the horse. We want to make sure he's in the proper competition level. So let's get him in where he's going to be bet down. It's very simple. Patrick the Piranha, I talked about him briefly. Here's a horse that was second, paced 49-4, going for 8,500. Joel said, "Oh, Pacer's got to go so darn fast." Well, Hasty Bid had to trot 50-2 to race in a $40,000 stake race last night. Elimination. And he'll race for a lot more money. But the open trots everywhere go fast. The open paces do. And yes, once in a while you get those middle condition races that just go scorching hot. But it was nice to see Patrick get back. You know, everybody keeps saying, did he slip? He didn't feel like he has. Feels like the same horse he was last year. He took a mark of 48-4 last year in the open.
He's getting old.
He is getting older. Yeah, but I still feel he's really good. He might have slid a hair, but he's still very, very competitive in any of those classes when he's on his game. And yesterday afternoon, he was certainly on his game. Dominion, I didn't get there in the mud. You know, the takeaway for me for Dominion, here's the thing. You can't be a billion lengths out at the half, right? He's not Seabiscuit. You can't be 7th, 18 lengths off at the half and catch up. The horse finished up strong. But if he's struggling in the middle, Chris, one of our clients had said, what about the hobbles? If you're not getting off the gate good and you're struggling in the middle 3/8, then absolutely put the hobbles on him. I want to see that horse get away 1, 2, or 3 next week. And yes, I was frustrated that I didn't go and drive the horse. I haven't sat behind him, so I can't, Jason Ryan still didn't break rule number 1, kept the horse trotting, and maybe he was rough in the middle half. And if that's the case, get the hobbles on him.
The track was terrible.
Yeah, but the track was terrible for everybody.
I know, but I'm just saying.
You can't be 17 lengths out at the half. You just can't do it. So if it's 17 lengths out because he's rough, then get the hobbles on him and get the horse moving. Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of our old buddy Dominion real soon. I wish I could have gone last night. I just, as I said, I didn't have a heavy set of rain gear. It was pouring rain when we were driving through. I made it all the way past the amusement park. We were all the way past King City before we turned back. It was just a torrential downpour. So Dominion, he did finish up his mile well. He did look competitive, but you can't be that far back and be competitive. So if he's struggling in the middle part of the race, warm him up 2 trips, get the hobbles on him and get him moving. And that's exactly what will happen next week. Tactical Mounds was fantastic. Scotty said gating pole on the outside, a few little adjustments with equipment, and now I can get her out of the gate. Perfect. That's great. It was nice to see her control the race, and easy. You want to talk about an easy? It's never easy when a trotter wins in 151, but she certainly made it look easy last night. She was amazing.
Wasn't getting locked in.
No, wasn't getting locked in. Pulled her in the last turn, moved her out, and away he went. The horse raced great, and he drove her great. Texong Soprano. Oh, Mark is a savage. He just blasted him out of there. It looked like he was a winner. Texong got a little soft late in the mile. And then someone tried to sneak up the inside, and it looked like Mark almost put him right in the tote board. He wasn't
They hooked wheels.
He did, hooked wheels bad. If you watch the run out after the race, Mark's like chasing Texong because they're hooked. He's hooked from behind. So what happens in that case is that people will panic and allow the horse to slow up or slow them up. The guy on the inside can't slow up enough because he's advancing, hooks your wheel, drags you sideways, dumps you on the track. That's what happens. And Mark, being down a million times, understood what was happening, and he's chasing Texong, trying to get him to go forward. I think it was Jason Bartlett, but I don't know. As Jason, I believe, was trying to slow his horse up, so I'm sure they came unhooked. But a 9 out of 10 of savagery for Mark last night with Texong Soprano. Mark, when Mark is aggressive, he's great to watch. He's like me, but a lot better. He's just a better driver and much more tactical and smart. But I love when Mark's got an edge and he's driving aggressive. He is.
So you're calling yourself the worst driver out of the 3 brothers?
I am the worst driver out of the 3 brothers. You're right. I am. But nobody has more fun than I have, Ollie. I can tell you that right now. As far as drivers go, that has been settled. I am the 3rd best McDonald brother. The only thing I can hope for is that Curtis never gets his license. That's all I can hope for. But it is nice to watch Mark when he's got an edge and he's aggressive. He's fun to watch and gets a lot out of a horse. And man, he can get a horse to rattle too. And really happy that he's having luck in New York. You know, for any of you that know Mark, he's not wired like me. Mark is different, right? He's super funny, nice guy to be around, but very surgical the way he goes about his life and the way he goes about driving. Me, I'm more like take it as it comes, right? I like to live as low a stress life as I can, even though I do live a stressful life. And Mark is not like that. He could never do that because he compartmentalizes too much, and it's what makes him a great driver. He's much more focused. But it's certainly great to watch him drive, and certainly great to watch him have luck on the track. So happy that he got along with Texong last night. Scotty, a great drive with Tactical Mounds also. So a great night all around. Renegade Gypsy, I fell asleep. Can you look it up quick? I'll just ramble for a minute while you look it up. I apologize to my partners in Renegade Gypsy. You know, a lot of these horses sometimes are out of sight, out of mind, right? And it's not Renegade Gypsy. I'll miss horses all the time that are racing at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. I was exhausted. I got a sunburn on my forehead yesterday, which I've never had in my life. But it was hot yesterday, and I didn't wear a hat. So I was just sitting there, and I never noticed until I went to go to Georgian Downs. It's still hot. I got a vicious suntan on my forehead.
How do you think I started playing in that?
5th beat 4, 154 and 4.
5th beat 4, 154 and 4. And where did he get away?
Sat 4th.
Sat 4th. So, you know, same type of thing with Renegade, as I said. I could see this coming a long way off because the allergies did bother him last year. I was hoping that they'd be able to mitigate it, but
It's also 20 to 1. So
yeah, it's in a tough
It's
class.
a better class. But
Well, he did do okay his last 2, and sometimes you have to jump up. Yeah, open 3. And sometimes when you have something like an open 3, what happens is some of the horses are dropping down out of the open, right? So the open 3 becomes a open 1 from 6 weeks ago.
Right.
So it's not always a cakewalk. But it's nice to see Gypsy's picking up checks and he's working his way through it, which is always important. So a great day at the track yesterday. Started off the day with 2 runaway winners in the filly division. Aunt Lily and Freedom Hill just crushed them and looked great, as advertised. The qualifier with Chicago was eye-opening for a lot of people, certainly not to me, but eye-opening to a lot of people as advertised. Patrick DePrana, second, paced 49-3. Huge mile.
That nice picture they did.
I know, I saw that the other night. The sun was beautiful. Is this us here? It says it is. And then we had No Free Lunch and Dominion. Both did what they could, but weren't super effective yesterday. No Free Lunch a little easier to fix. Put him in cheaper. Get him in where he can win. Dominion.
Looks like we're the first ones here.
No, there's people down here already. This is our team down here. Dominion, a little different. I want to know, I'm going to talk to Jason Ryan and say, okay, no jokes aside, but why were you 17 lane? Why were you so far back at the half? And if it's because the horse was struggling, okay, how do we mitigate that struggling and how do we move forward? Because he finished up strong. Finished up like he had a lot of pop. Just didn't start that way. So that was Dominion. The rest of the night was all aces. Tactile Mounds was awesome, a winner in 151 and looked incredible. Tech Song Soprano was second, looked incredible. Mark drove him great. And Renegade Gypsy did what he could to finish 5th. So great day at the office. We're all off today. We got nothing to do today except watch baseball. I'm going to do my videos today. I wish I could park somewhere closer where I could watch the race, watch the game, and do my videos. But for right now, I'm going to focus on doing my videos while Ollie warms up and gets ready to play. What's going on over there?
There's a game before us.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what's going on. I wonder. There's another parking lot right there. How do I get to that one?
Where?
There's a truck parked right there. I'm going to try and figure.
Around that way.
I'm going to try and figure out how to do that. Anyway, you guys, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Little rain to cool things off this morning, but as my face can tell you, it's been a hot week. So, it's been a hot week weather-wise and a hot week for the stable. Let's keep it going as we start next week. Monday is going to be so cool. I can't wait for Monday. Take care.